Welcome to the Leadership Spark podcast, where we equip you to be the great leader your people deserve. This is Corey, and today I want to talk about this idea of being all in. If you listened in yesterday, you heard me say that the theme for my team in 2026 is this idea of being all in. And I shared yesterday about how a simple way to create focus on your team and something for them to rally around is to create a theme for the year. And so it's something I've done for many years leading teams. And the theme this year is this idea of all in. And so as I was thinking about you and leaders out there, the Leadership Spark podcast, I wanted to share with you what that means to be all in and ask you the question, what would it look like for you to be all in the next 12 months? What would that look like for you? But I think it's very important to understand what all in means and what it doesn't mean. And so I want to share with you what I shared with my team. These are the things that all in doesn't mean, and this is what all in means, hopefully to encourage you and challenge you to go all in this year along with the WildSpark team. And so let me talk about what all in is not. All in is not working long hours or burning yourself out. That is not what all in means. All in is not saying yes to everything or being the go-to for all problems. All in is not waiting for the perfect clarity before taking action. That's not what all in looks like. It's not doing the minimum and hoping it's good enough. It's not keeping 1 foot in and 1 foot out just in case. It's not complaining on the sidelines instead of stepping in. It's not saying, that's not my job. If you hear that, that's not all in. If someone says, that's not my job when the work matters, then they're not all in. That is not what all in looks like. All in is not pretending to support something while quietly resisting it. That is not what all in looks like. But what does all in look like? All in is being clear on what matters most right now. We talked about that a couple of days ago, the idea of being able to understand what's important now. What's the win? W-I-N, what's important now? And being able to know that and be clear for yourself and for others around you. All in is taking ownership instead of just doing the task. All in is giving your best effort to the work you've committed to. All in is speaking up when something isn't working. All in is following through even when it gets uncomfortable. All in is making choices that support the team, not just yourself. All in is asking for clarity instead of waiting in confusion. All in is showing up with intention and effort and buy-in and not just working on autopilot. That's what all in looks like. And as I read those two lists, if you're a leader of a team, of course you want your team to behave in a way that I read off whenever I talked about what all in is and what it looks like. We all do. And so I would just encourage you this year for you to be all in. And you can take this list and you can challenge your team and you can challenge them to rise up in their own mindset when it comes to the job they do or their participation on the team with you, to where they would say that they're going to be all in this year. And you can see the effects from the behaviors that I read off of what all in is. And so I want to encourage you to do that. Going all in doesn't necessarily mean doing more. Going all in a lot of cases means showing up differently. And so how can you show up differently this year? How can you encourage your team to show up differently this week? And how can you be the model for that for them so that they see you going all in and they just want to follow and go all in with you? And if your team is all in, if they're behaving in this way, then there's really no ceiling to what you can accomplish.